Well, the addition of Mason Cole being cut yesterday, and he's no longer part of this offensive line, and the questions around who's going to be starting a quarterback has kind of gotten me into a little bit of an argument and a little bit of thoughts going forward because now that there is no doubt in my mind that the Pittsburgh Steelers will be going center in the first round of the draft. What is going on, everybody? I am Mac, back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram, link down in the box below. I made a comment the other day on my video about Mason Rudolph, and I said something along the lines of, quarterback is a top 3 issue for the Pittsburgh Steelers going into 2024, no matter how you look at it. And that's true, but now comes in the debate of which is more important for the Steelers to address for 2024 between O-line and quarterback. Okay? Because either way you look at it, those are easily top 2. And anyone has their own interpretation of it. So let's just look at it from my perspective, obviously, from both ends of the spectrum. So let's tackle the O-line first. So going into 2023, the Steelers used a lot of free agency cap funds and a lot of draft capital to try to upgrade the O-line, and there were a lot of mixed results with it. Obviously, Isaac Seumalo was a big addition last year, and he had some really good moments with us, and I'd say he's probably the quote best lineman that we had in 2023. But still, I mean, you look at it, he had some respectable numbers. No sacks allowed on 21 pressures, 535 pass blocking snaps. And there were also some very positive flashes from our first round pick last year in Broderick Jones. He turned in a 60.6 PFF grade, and he's moved to right tackle ever since then. So, I mean, those are the two strengths on the O-line right there. But other than that, I mean, it's a very average group, and that's putting it lightly. Okay? A very average group that struggles with protection and open up holes for the run game, which is something that we've been screaming at all season this past season. And we really need to address the left tackle after this season, especially from Dan Moore, who gave up 7 sacks this past season, 51 pressures, and 484 pass blocking snaps. So the way I see it, we got rid of one big thing holding the O-line, which was Mason Cole. Thank God it needed to happen. His snaps were awful. He couldn't block. I mean, how are you a center and you can't snap a ball? That's like being a pitcher in baseball and not being able to throw a fastball. Okay? So the way I look at it for 2024 for us, the Steelers' O-line is pretty much all set to return this year, obviously with the exception now of Mason Cole, which is why I said at the beginning that we are going to be going center in the first round of the draft. I got no doubt in my mind about that. And additionally, we don't really have much of financial flexibility to upgrade through free agency. So I think we need to either flipping Broderick Jones back to left tackle, which is his natural position, or draft a left tackle in his place and keep him permanently at right, because he's done great at right tackle. And we got to either limit Dan Moore or cut him altogether, because Dan Moore, this is his 4th season with us. He just hasn't been doing it. And Chooks also, I think, needs to be on his way out as well, unless you absolutely have to swing him in for that right tackle position. So center and right tackle and left tackle, those are the biggest needs as far as the O-line goes. But then you look at the quarterbacks. Obviously, the O-line had a lot of trouble with protecting the quarterback, and I think that's what a lot of people blame it on, for the fact that Kenny Pickett was taking unnecessary sacks. But Kenny Pickett obviously is not innocent. And I'm saying Kenny Pickett for this video because Mike Tomlin has said that Kenny Pickett's going to be the starter long term, or at least for the next couple of years. okay? Which I heavily disagree with. I don't need to say what I think about Kenny Pickett, okay? But I'm trying to tell you what's more important going into 2024 to fix up for the Pittsburgh Steelers between the O-line and between the quarterback. Because you take a look at both positions, we do have answers for both of them. Like on the O-line, Broderick Jones, really good rookie year. Isaac Seumalo, he did pretty well. And then obviously you got the left tackle and the right tackle and the centers that you need to fill in. With quarterback, we know Mason Rudolph is the best option that we have at starting quarterback. But we've been rumored for weeks now to land Justin Fields here and Russell Wilson here. And while I think at least Russ might be an immediate upgrade over Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph, I don't know about Justin Fields. I am just not a fan of the guy. I don't like how he plays. So my situation is that if we stick with Kenny Pickett for 2024, and this is like, kind of like a prove-it year for him in a way, and he flops once again, then we know that we need to probably land one in free agency next year, barring what the free agency QBs are for next year, or we need to draft a quarterback in 2025 altogether. But any way you look at it, I lean more towards the O-line being the biggest issue that we need to fix up for 2024. Because like I said, we know Mason Rudolph is the best option that we have at this moment. Okay? I don't know if Russ is coming here. I don't know if Fields is coming here. I don't even know if Kirk Cousins is coming over here. But we do know that Mason Rudolph is our best option. So at least we know that for right now. But other than Broderick Jones and Isaac Seumalo, who else do we have at O-line that's really making an impact? You might say Nate Herbig, but Nate Herbig needs to have his full shot, and he needs to be put in a natural position on this O-line as well. Okay? So, really, other than those two, I mean, we know Dan Moore Jr. is awful. We know Chooks is awful. And we just got rid of Mason Cole. And like I said a million times already, I got no doubt that we're going to be going center in the first round of the draft. But other than those two guys right there, we don't have a strong offensive line. Everyone says that, a quarterback is as good as his receivers are. I actually argue that a quarterback is as good as his offensive line is, and it meshes well together, okay? Because Kenny Pickett takes these unnecessary sacks because of A, him panicking in the pocket and he doesn't know how to respond to pressure, and B, this O-line just doesn't do him any favors at the same time by not being able to block for him on a consistent basis. Okay? So, I mean, it's both of their faults. They both play big issues as to why we give up a lot of sacks. It's both their, it's not just one guy that's leading the cause of the trouble for the sacks and the pressures that we give up. It's on both of them. And the way I see it, this offseason and these next couple of months leading up to the draft, it's going to be very important to see how the Pittsburgh Steelers handle this issue that we've been having for years now as far as the O-line goes. So personally, I lean more towards, at least right now, that the O-line is the bigger issue that we need to address in the draft and this offseason. But I am not under any circumstance diminishing what little value that we have at quarterback right now, and that we need to give Mason Rudolph a full season to be the starter. But by no means is our quarterback situation set. But I want to know what yinz think down in the comments below. What do you think is the bigger need to fix up on between quarterback and O-line? Because I think these are the two biggest flaws that the Pittsburgh Steelers have on the offensive side of the ball. But let me know what yinz think down in the comments below. I am Mac, checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.